my guest today is a member of my Creative Memorial Planning Facebook group, where I help 50 plus adults, caregivers, veterans, and families explore earth-friendly, cost-reducing alternatives to traditional funeral plans that often use less or even zero corporate funeral and or religious institutions. And I also help people map out their personalized creative memorial plan based on this exploration of alternatives that sync with their personal values. So what I do is I provide the step-by-step journey to relief and peace of mind, cost savings, and satisfaction from getting your personalized creative memorial planned. One of the alternatives to traditional funeral plans that I am sharing in my creative memorial planning group is the involvement of a death doula. I am not a death doula. So just a quick, Google search tells me that a death midwife or an end of life or death doula is a person who assists in the dying process, much like a midwife or a doula does for the birthing process for, pregnant women having babies. In case people don't know what the birthing process is, it's often a community-based role aiming to help families cope with death through recognizing it as a natural and important part of life. So I know that the idea of death doula, death midwife, end of life doula, excuse my allergies, can be new to some people who don't know anything yet about these alternatives to traditional funeral plans. So my guest today is San Antonio, Texas-based Mrs. Anna Adams. And Anna has 20 years experience in hospice and elder care, excuse my allergies, and is a certified end-of-life doula, elder care doula, doula care consultant, and certified nurse assistant. She's dedicated and motivated to encourage all to understand and be okay with death and prepare for their end-of-life transition. Anna is an instructor and a co-owner of Texas Doula Movement, LLC, along with Sonia Koenig, I hope I said that right, who has more than 25 years experience also as a death doula. The company offers education, planning, support, and resources for end-of-life alternatives. And the Texas Doula Movement is also committed to respecting each client's objectives through a holistic approach to end-of-life care. Their company provides end-of-life doula training, certification, and continuing education for those interested in becoming a death doula. And I noticed they have a site, then I'll include all these links with this in the bottom of the comments here. But one of the company's core values is to provide dignity and respect to patients and their families, regardless of age, race, religion, or cultural background. So in addition to serving clients through their end-of-life experiences, Texas Doula Movement LLC offers a course providing the necessary education and resources if you want to become a certified end-of-life doula and an elder companion doula. So with all that as the introduction, I want to say welcome to Anna.
Hi.
And I'm so happy to have this chat with you about what value and services are provided by a death doula. And you shared with me, we've had a few back and forth chats, and you shared with me that your contribution to this topic of end-of-life experience is that you, quote, assist families with understanding the process of end of life. And you said, it's become my passion to help families be prepared for end of life. So can you, for my audience, can you describe some of the things you do when you're working with someone who is nearing the end of life?
So some of the things that we would do is we could provide music therapy. We try to sit down with them beforehand so we can kind of see what they were like, before they became ill. Mm-hmm. So learning what maybe if they like scents, if they like lotions, we could rub lotions on their hands. And a lot of times I find a lot of patients like to use music. So we'll use like ocean music, or just another big favorite has been jazz music. So just playing that in the background and just kind of helping them relax and just reminding them to, breathe and take slow and inhale and exhale. And also providing that support to the families. It's a trying time. People don't know, they don't go through this every day. So, and this has always been something that I think a lot of people are just scared of. And
Right.
so we try to take that fear and let them know that this is a normal process of life and that we want to make this a beautiful thing as possible for the family and for the patient. And so we just, try to just surround this patient with love and just positive energy and positive vibes, doing aromatherapy. If they like certain scents, if they like a lavender, or if there's, whatever kind of scents they enjoy. So a little bit of everything kind of rolls into it.
Well, I have a question. Have you ever, or does your company or the doulas that work in your company, when working with a client, have you ever helped someone near end of life, or actually someone who has passed away, in terms of washing? Do you do the washing, the bathing, the dressing, the loved one, the deceased, for if they want to do an in-home or even just preparation before they choose whatever way they want to handle remains? Do you guys do that
Yes,
sort of thing as
ma'am.
well?
Yes, ma'am. And there's actually, there's a little line there. So,
There's
okay.
a
So
line.
well, yeah, because we have to then volunteer that hour. Due to the rules and regulations, we cannot be on the clock when we're doing washing and doing that care to the body.
Is
At that,
that solely in Texas law or in the
um,
United States? Or
my understanding, it's an overall rule in the United States
interesting.
that you cannot provide washing of the body on paid time. That has, if it's going to be any kind of paid time, it has to be through the mortuary. So something as into that sense, when we do that, that has to become a volunteer time that we can offer as a volunteer. We would
That's
come off our
interesting.
doula clock and do that.
Wow, that's amazing. And so this brings a point, and I've talked about this in my other lives in my group, that and as you know, I'm pretty strongly an advocate with either zero corporate or less corporate involvement. But you're going to have to, anybody that dies is going to have to use some kind of a company to deal with the remains. So I typically, whether that's a natural burial or a green burial or a cremation or an echo cremation, but what I recommend people do is cost compare, and don't go to the funeral business. Particularly go to what you just mentioned, a mortuary or a crematory. They typically do the same exact services to handle those remains, but at a fraction of the cost of most traditional funeral businesses. But I want to say I haven't yet uncovered or discovered any of these services that do what death doulas do, in terms of, not only comforting and preparing the family and the dying for that transition, but as you said, death doulas actually will volunteer to do that very personalized, gentle preparation of the deceased through washing and all that. That's an
Mhm.
amazing mission and purpose that you guys do, which is so much more meaningful for the loved ones that are remaining. So my hat
Yes.
is off to you. And I understand that your first experience as an unofficial death doula was through caring for your best friend cousin. That's one person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But your cousin was your best friend, and she had hospice, and from that point you cared for her and you felt called to really serve this line of work.
Hmm.
Can you share with us, first of all, I'm very sorry for your loss, that was hard to go through at 16 years of age for you. Um, what was it though about that experience that really inspired you to become a death doula?
So I started my journey, like you said, really early in life at 16. And so I took care of my best friend's cousin. And so I went through the process with them, and she was a very young lady. And so that has just really stuck with me as doing it as a service to others
Wow.
and showing that love and that support, and realizing too, I think now that I look back, I probably realized too that how underserved, hospice care, palliative care is these days.
Mm.
Back then, um, there wasn't a whole bunch of support. And so now we're coming up with more support.
Yeah.
And so now it's just getting all that education out there to let, to get people involved and to know, it was a hard situation and going through, and it was a learning experience. It was a life experience. I look at everything that we go through in life as part of our life journey and what we need to experience in life.
Right. And creating, and that's in a way what your story is similar to mine, like having gone through tragedies myself and having to have stepped up as an unofficial celebrant for many tragedies and helping other people through it. It definitely made me aware of those gaps of support, lack of support from certain areas. And it gave meaning to what I'm doing. So we're kind of similar in that and how we came about this. But, as you know, because of my personal experiences, I advocate a little more strongly towards alternatives to traditional corporate funeral plans. I mean, if a client of mine wants to involve, something, whether it's a green burial or, a visitation or something like that, I'm happy to serve people that way. But I definitely educate people to these more gentle, personalized, less expensive alternatives. And as part of my service to my clients, I really want to, educate them to this option of involving a death doula. And so I'm looking at kind of two scenarios. There's like, for example, my dad had cancer. He passed away 6 years ago. And we had a wonderful hospice because he had wonderful insurance. That covered that. But hospice, even though they were wonderful, they deal primarily with the medical part of it. And I think it would have been really wonderful for my family if we had known about, as I didn't know about death doulas back then, if my father could have had someone like that step in. Because for me, the distinction that I'm learning about what you do, between what you do and hospice does, even though hospice workers that I've met have been fabulous people and very comforting, they're not specifically trained in emotionally supporting the family and the dying person like death doulas would be. So one scenario would be like for my father, if we had known, or if we wanted to find someone like you, I want to know, how would people find someone like you? And the other scenario is more of what I'm doing. I'm preparing people in advance. So most of my clients are not people that are, older, dealing with a long-term illness or on the brink of, passing on. Mine are more thinking ahead, because that's my main message. Get it in advance. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you two questions. How would someone find your services for someone who is, or who is a fatal illness, or they're on their deathbed? That's the first question. And then the other question is, do you do anything, how would someone have a plan? Like, I'd like to have that as a plan B in my personal memorial plans. Sorry, my cat, my cat just snuck up on us. He's 20 years old. So he gets what he wants. But if I wanted to put it in my memorial plans as a plan B, if I end up, living a really long life and I'm ill at the end of my life, how would I prepare for that and involve, your services? Those are my questions. I know that was a long way to get there.
Okay. So for the first one, getting in touch with the doula, there's different avenues. There's the National Doula
Alliance.
Website. Alliance, yes. Yeah. They have their website. They have a Doula List there. Oh, yeah. And that is another certification that we work towards as well. And you can be listed on there. It's a membership. And so and it goes by state and country. They have international, they have Canada, Australia.
Wonderful.
It is
good resource. Yeah.
There's the international one as well. So you're able to go to those directories as well to locate doulas in your areas. Okay. Because I will tell you, not every area has a doula.
Right.
It's
growing though. Yeah.
It's growing. It definitely is. And so that is one way to locate doulas. Another way is there's many doulas as myself. We offer teledoula services.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah,
especially if the pandemic has created that whole new the world will never be the same.
Yes, yes, definitely. It's a little bit of a safer route, especially too, if they already have someone who's ill in the home, they don't want, want to take any extra chances of having extra people in the house. This is an awesome way is to use the teledoula services. So,
Okay.
for instance, you can go onto my Save Your Doula Facebook page or website where I have my private practice, and you can go on there and there's an option. You can send a message to let me know that you're interested in teledoula services. So once we do teledoula services, kind of like the same as if we were there, we would meet online, such as Zoom or FaceTime, and have visits, allowing us to get time to know each other, and build a relationship with each other so that we can give you, find out what you're wanting in your end of life plan. Sometimes it's not always a perfect situation where we can get with the person ahead of time. So, but we try, we really, really try. And we are trying to educate and encourage families to get on board early so that we have this time, because it takes some time to build that trust and to build that relationship. And we want to know everything we possibly can about that patient.
That's wonderful. So I have a question about that. So if someone, sends you a message and they want to pre-plan for someone that's, has an illness, then they can arrange that with you and pre-plan for your services, or how does that work? Or you pre-plan and then you do the full service, and at the end people pay after the deceased is gone? Or is it a pre-planned thing, or is it a variety of these things?
So we usually work on a prepaid plan. Some doulas do package deals. Say you get, 40 hours or whatever, and then you can renew once it gets close. We'll let you know, hey, we're coming up. Would you want to do an hourly base, or do you want to do a package deal? And so I find that the package deals work out a lot easier because we already have a set amount of hours, and sometimes you will. We try to spread it where, of course, if we need to use it before they become imminent, then we do. And we let them know, hey, we're coming up close. We're going to, do you want to do another package or hourly? Then after that, we can base it on that and continue our service with them.
Okay.
I find out that kind of works best because you just never know with terminal illnesses. Someone can be walking and talking and 2 days later be bedbound.
That's amazing.
You just never know.
Yeah.
So that works out well. And then we're allowed to have that time to work at the end with them as well.
I love that. And you mentioned earlier when we were talking back and forth by message, you mentioned that a doula can help people in their most difficult time of life. And I having been through this myself many times, it really is a challenging time. So in what ways do you really feel that the doula helps the dying and the family with that death experience?
So we will talk with the patient and find out, do they want people there? Who do they want changing them when it comes time that they may need someone to change them or reposition them in the bed? Some people may not want their daughter or their spouse to do that. So how do they want to handle that? We try to plan out those situations ahead of time, and then also being able to facilitate. We offer facilitation meetings with the family and the patient to be able to facilitate what the patient wants, so that everybody's clear ahead of time, so that truly at the end of time, we try to focus more on just really providing positive, loving atmosphere for that patient.
Wonderful. So primarily, my understanding, primarily what a death doula's role is to be a support emotionally, somebody that's not, in the throes of grieving and loss, and to really support that dying person with emotional support and friendship, and kind of like a liaison between family members with, based on what the dying person wants to happen, just really upholding the dying person's wishes, respectfully getting the family kind of on the same page with that. It's really an emotional support, and to help people understand. The big thing, I think, is, from my understanding, is what you're doing is helping people absorb the loss and understand that death is natural, and I mean, it's not easy, but it's a natural process, and you're helping people to overcome the fear and to work through that experience, but which is huge, huge for people. And I've been in situations so many times where, whether, well, my dad's a great example of that. It's just, it's, when someone's passing away, people just don't know how to respond to it, and they feel so helpless. So having someone there just as a supportive guide is a wonderful thing for surviving, well, for the loved ones that are there, and for afterwards, for the fact that they will be the surviving loved ones. I wish that more people, I talk to, a lot of people about preparing their memorial plans, and I hear people say, it doesn't matter when I'm gone, I don't need anything for, my loved ones don't need anything, any kind of support. But I've been there, and people grieving do need support. I'm just going to say,
Right.
and death doulas give that kind of support.
Yes.
I do want to know, besides the emotional support, I know that some death doulas do more than that. Like they may do what I do, help people prepare and map out a memorial plan. Do you do that as well?
Yes. So yes, I will offer that service. I'm kind of more on the side of working with the going through the process of the deathing process. But yes, we can help with planning advanced directives.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Helping them get any kind of living wills and things together.
Durable power of attorney, things like that.
Yes, and trying to put together a little box with, personal information, passwords, and things that their families may need later, policies and things like that.
I'm so glad you clarified that, because I just help people explore the alternatives, and I help them choose what they want, and I help them map out that memorial plan and how they handle the remains. I help them with the message to loved ones, like the obituaries, to getting that all in place, and I help the dying, or the person that's planning ahead, do a final message, whether it's written and or a video message or even audio recording. But I do not do the legal aspects of things. So this is something really useful for me to let my clients know, particularly if they're going to opt for a death doula, that you guys do a lot of this other pre-planning, with the advanced health directives, the living wills, durable power of attorney, things like that. That's a really good thing to have. And I think it's nice, to offer it through people like me and you, because we're not with the big corporate,
Right.
traditional, where we're tacking on 4 times the amount of, the service that we're offering.
Right, exactly.
We're just helping them get it done at a reasonable fee. So that's a wonderful thing that you guys do. Can you tell my audience, well, you did say that there's a national service, and I will definitely actually have that in my resources, but I'll put that link down in this at the end of this as well. But for those interested in your services specifically, I'll put your links in there, but can you let us know how they could find you? And also, if someone's watching this and wants to become a doula, can you let them know now if you have any special offerings and how they can find you?
Yes. So so first I have, they can reach out to me. They can call me at 210-721-3422. Direct way to get in touch with me. They can text, they can send a message through Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Anna Marie Adams. I have my Save for Doula services that they can look up, and I'm got all my information listed there as well. And then I have Texas Doula Movement, which my wonderful, wonderful partner, Ms. Sonia, and I have put together because we felt that there's just not enough education out there. And also education about, what a death doula does, and what, that there is the certification. So, and we wanted to offer a school that we could provide. We try to work with one-on-ones with our students.
Awesome.
Provide an exercise where not only where you can just go online and watch the information, but we provide live sessions where we get together as a group, provide the learning, have questions and answers after we've gone over the learning module. Putting together our doula tool belt that will be accessed on our website at texasdoula.com. And so there we'll have some more continuing education things there for people to reach out to, and specials for our alumni students. But right now we do have a $399.99 promotion going on. We have a class starting September 12th. And that's another wonderful thing. We're offering classes, not just only a Tuesday class eventually, but we have our Saturday class. So if you work a job through the week, you can jump online with us on Saturday and work with us for a few hours and get your experience. Another wonderful thing that we're offering that I just love is we're actually offering a Zoom graduation. So
that's awesome.
So we're offering a Zoom graduation because it is an accomplishment to get this done. And another thing that we're going to be offering as well is we will post a PDF of your certificate, but we will be mailing you a live certificate. I know that when I went through mine, I didn't get a live certificate. So
what does that mean, a live certificate?
We're going to actually mail a certificate.
Oh, a real and hand copy. Oh, gotcha.
Yes, a hand copy of the certificate. So they'll also have it in PDF form, but they'll also get it live in the mail. Something they can put on their wall. I mean, it is important. You accomplished something. You took a lot of information. It is so much information that you put together. And we help them also build their businesses and work through that as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's a huge thing. So for people that, we have some people in my group that are actually interested in becoming a death doula. So I'm looking forward to posting this so that they can get a little more info. And I just want to say thank you, Anna Adams, for sharing this amazing end-of-life alternative to traditional funeral plans and what this has to offer, what death doulas particularly have to offer people. And I want to also say thank you to for everything that you do to comfort people in their end-of-life experience, and as well as for their loved ones. That's a huge mission and purpose based on immense compassion. And it really shows that you feel that because you're very caring about, I can see it and hear it in the way that you express yourself. So thank you so much for joining today. And for those who are joining, I will put all of her links in the comment section so you can easily find this information. And I want to remind my audience that I help 50 plus adults, caregivers, families, veterans, and other people like me explore earth-friendly, cost-reducing alternatives to traditional funeral plans. And I help you map out your creative memorial plan with less or even zero corporate and or religious involvement, tailored to your personal values. And if you want to learn more, you can book a free discovery call with me. I'll plop that link in the comments as well. And please, whenever you're watching this, please share this information with other people. You can share this once I get this out here. You can share this link on your page or tag somebody so that they can see it, or forward them to the websites and the comments that I'm going to plop down there for everyone. So thank you so much again, Anna Adams, for joining, and I'm sure everybody got a whole lot out of this.
For doing this, because this is awesome. This is awesome to get this information out to everybody. And it is such a blessing to meet with you and get to know you.
Right back at you, Anna. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.